Today on our 2018 Ford F350, we're going to take a look at and show you how to install the B&W Companion OEM fifth wheel trailer hitch with slider for the Ford towing prep package. The part number is B&W VK3002 Now the Companion slider is a really neat slider setup. It's designed, of course, to fit right down into that Ford prep package that you've got underneath the bed of your truck. And then it offers us room. It's going to slide rearward towards the truck. And that's one of the big features I really like about it. You've got your lock handle here. Move that into the unlock position. And it slides very, very easily. And you'll see that handle is going to slide right back into position. There's a big benefit to this over some of the other slider systems out there in the market, basically because this base is going to come to you as one piece. You're going to slide it in. Everything's already lined up. Whereas with the other ones, it might be 2 or 4 pieces that you'll have to put together to get it in place. That can be a challenge to get it to where your slider will operate this effectively. Now this slider configuration from B&W is very important, especially when we're dealing with the shorter bed trucks. This is a 6 3/4 inch bed truck. And in typical fifth wheel applications, you'd have to worry about the front corner of the camper hitting the back corner of your cab. We don't want that to happen, so by sliding this back, it gives us an additional 12 inches of space to ensure that we don't have that contact. Now the slider configuration in the maneuvering position isn't something you want to travel down the road with. You want it to be in the forward position. It's going to be more for the slow speed maneuvering, whether you're trying to get through a parking lot or a gas station. Maybe you're trying to get your camper backed into the campsite. You want to have that in that rearward position so you can get those more extreme angles and get your camper where you want it. Now the setup of the Companion has a really nice weight rating to it. It gives us a 5,000 pound vertical load limit. It's the maximum downward force we can put on top of the head here. And it gives us a gross trailer weight rating of the total weight of our trailer of 20,000 pounds. Of course, with that being said, you don't want to exceed the capacity of your truck. So use whichever of those numbers are the lowest. Now to make connections and disconnections easier, our head's designed to pivot forward and back. So as we slide in or it disconnects, it's going to be able to get in there and get a hold in those dual jaws. Also, as we're traveling down the road, of course, we want this to flex a little bit side to side, and it's designed to do that. There's a shock built into it right here to keep it at dead center. But as the pressure of your trailer causes it to pivot, it's going to go right along with it so we don't have those extreme binding type situations. Now the pin and clip designed to keep our jaws closed can be replaced with a lock if you choose. You want to use one with a 5/16 inch diameter, and it should have a shackle length of about 1.5 inches or more. Once that's released, by pulling forward on our handle, and with those fully open, it'll allow us to get that kingpin right in place. Now to give you an idea, as you slide that kingpin in, you see those jaws open, wrap around it, and of course as you back in, those are going to close securely around the kingpin. Now unlike some heads out there, you'll notice that we're going to have 1 inch thick steel jaws. This is designed to give us almost an exact fit on most standard kingpins. And it also has 360 degrees of contact. So unlike single jaws systems that are just going to hook it in the back, or even the style that just has a straight bar across the back, this is going to reduce a lot of the noise and movement our trailers typically have on fifth wheel hookups. Now the B&W Companion really stands out amongst most of its competitors. It has, of course, a gray finish. That's going to be different, it's going to be unique, and it's going to draw attention. But it's a very good, high quality powder coat finish. Very rarely do you ever see one of these come in here where it's been chipped up or anything like that. All of the other components are going to have either the chrome or the zinc finish on it, also to help resist corrosion and make sure it looks good for a very long time to come. Something else the B&W offers is a lot of ease of use. Sometimes it can get a little tricky. Which lever do you have to pull first? Which way does it have to go? Whereas with this case, everything's really easy, straightforward, and simple to use. Now something else that I really like about the Companion system is that our release handle is located right here where average height people can reach in there and get it unlocked. That way you're not climbing into the bed of your truck, releasing it, getting back in your truck, moving it, and that kind of thing, going back and forth. Our installation process is going to start with the base. We want to get this put down into the puck system. So we're going to remove the pin and clip off each side, and we want to open the levers as far as they'll go. Now we're ready to place the base down in the pucks. Once we have that down and in, we want to check for tension on our handles here. You can see these won't freely move. If we start to tap them, they will. So let's open and close those a few times. It's just a little bit too much tension. So on our lever, we're going to pull the cotter pin and we'll back that nut off just slightly. We need to straighten out our cotter pin there so we can get it to slide out of the castle nut. Once that's out, we'll rotate that nut counterclockwise just a little bit, and we'll test it again for fit and adjust as necessary so our arm doesn't close super freely, but it doesn't take a lot of effort to get it in place. And that little bit of tension is what we're looking for. Now on any arm you need to, go ahead and make that adjustment so they all close with just a little bit of tension. Your next step is going to be to get that pin put back into place. Now we've got our coupler pivot arms we're going to mount to the base here. See, one's marked A and one's marked B. It's kind of hard to see there. You see they've got it laser etched into the side of that arm. If we put the one marked A on the passenger side, you can see that's going to kind of offset our pivot forward just slightly. If we put the B arm on the passenger side, you can see that's going to move it back a little bit. And it's going to be up to you which way you want these to go to give you the best clearance between your trailer and the cab of your truck. Since this is the shorter bed, we're going to mount our B arm on the passenger side here. The next thing we're looking for is the appropriate height that we're going to need for our trailer. Of course, we want our trailer to be as level as possible. You can see we've got 4 holes here. That's going to match up with 4 of the 10 holes here. We can have it in its lowest setting here, the middle setting, or the highest setting. Keeping in mind with these newer trucks, the side bed rails are getting a little bit higher. Typically, you're going to be on that higher end. We'll place our bolt through, line it up with the holes, and we can get those started. And as you can see, each of your bolts will have a lock washer on there, so you want to ensure you have those in place. We're going to do the same thing for the other side, and we'll get them snugged down. Now to do this, you're going to need a 3/4 inch socket. Now to finish getting those installed, you're going to want to torque each of the 8 bolts down to the specifications, which will be listed in your instructions. Now to assemble our head leveler, we're going to take our smaller bolt. See, it's going to go through our clip, through the spring, then we're going to thread on our nylon lock nut. Now this is designed to be adjusted, so once we have it in place, if our head's sitting too far back, we can adjust this up a little bit. If it's sitting too far forward, we can adjust it down a little bit to get the right level for our application. Now to tighten down that bolt, that nylon lock nut, we're going to use a 7/16 inch wrench. And don't be afraid to leave it a little bit loose in case you do need to make an adjustment. Now we want to ensure as we put this in place that it's going to be about a 1/2 inch below our bushing there. So we have it in the appropriate spot. Just want to get it knocked on there. Just like that. Keep in mind that can be adjusted forward or back to get the right pitch on your head for your application. Now we're ready to get our head put in place. We're doing this as a test fit just to make sure everything fits and operates the way it should. If you're going to be doing it as a permanent install, or you're going to be using it, you want to make sure you treat these bushings very well with some high-grade lithium grease. Now as we're holding up on the handles to release our lock, slide that down and on, release the handle, then we can put our pin and clip back in to ensure that doesn't have any kind of separation. And we'll be sure to do that on both sides of the head. Now we'll get our handle put in place. To do that, we'll need to pull the pin. and the slider handle in, we can use our provided bolts that have the hex head on them there, the inverted hex anyway. Place that down and through. Then on the bottom we'll put one of our locking flange nuts. Now the top you'll need a 7/32 for. The nut you're going to need a 9/16. At this point, everything nice and secure, we're ready to hook up to our trailer. And that's going to complete our installation of the B&W Companion OEM fifth wheel trailer hitch with slider for the Ford towing prep package. Part number BW RVK3002 on our 2018 Ford F350.